What up, B Squad? It is your boy JB, and we are here today with the review for The Oval on BET. This is season 4, episode 12, and I'm not picking my nose. I'm switching around the nose ring. Season 4, episode 12. The Stories We Tell is the title of this episode, you guys. So before we go ahead and get into this review, if you guys are watching this video or any other video on the channel and you guys aren't subscribed to the channel yet, then I need you guys to do me a solid favor and stop taking me out on this date and having me pay for it at the end of it. You guys know the routine. You can do me that favor by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and also by turning on your post notifications. And with that out of the way, you guys, without further ado, let's discuss The Oval on BET. Shall we? Alright, you guys, so this episode, it picks up where the last one left off. You guys remember that in last week's episode, well, not last week's episode, the week before last, that Kareem found Barry in his bedroom. I don't know if Barry is unconscious or if Barry is in fact deceased. So Kareem just backed out of the apartment, and then we see Kareem in the next scene. He's at the pharmacy, and I was just like, how long does it take him to get to the pharmacy and his apartment? But so he went into the office, and Sharon was like, I thought you were going home. He's like, leave me alone right now, Sharon. So then he closed the door. So he opens it back up and he tells Dale, come here. So Dale goes into the office with him, right? So Kareem is asking him, like, when you got home, was there anyone there? He says, no. He was like, did you give anyone your key? Do you have your key? He says, yes. Did you give it to anyone? He says, no. He says, I didn't take anything. Kareem says, I know you didn't. So Kareem then asks him for his key back, right? He says, don't ever go back to his apartment again. And I'm sorry, but this whole scene made no sense to me, right? And I'm going to tell you guys why it doesn't make sense, right? Because if you see somebody that everybody has been looking for hours at this point, right? And that person is in your apartment and you don't know how they got there. You ain't even, I mean, let's just say not even call the authorities. You're not gonna say to Sharon, like, so something very strange is going on. So for some odd reason, Barry is in my apartment and in my bed, slumped over. But the interesting thing is there is no forced entry into Kareem's apartment. So now that I say it out loud, that is kind of interesting. Like, how did they get into? But I mean, maybe they picked the lock. I don't know. So Kareem ended up leaving, right? So when Kareem left, Dale went and told Sharon, like, so he told me, basically not to go back to his apartment again, and I want to know what I did. And Sharon's like, you didn't do anything, which he knows he didn't do anything, and Kareem knows he didn't do anything. The twists and turns that the Oval takes, sometimes it's a lot. Sometimes it can just be a lot, but I'm not even going to delve too deep into this. I'm just going to roll with the punches with this one, right? So Sharon is like, I can ask Miss Nancy, can you stay with us, girl? You ain't gonna be able to talk to Miss Nancy because Miss Nancy is being, well, not really abducted, but she's been kidnapped by the Rackadoochies against her will, right? So Dale was like, but she said she'll talk to Miss Nancy, right? I want to pause here and move forward. So now we move over to Hunter, Victoria, and Donald, right? So you guys remember in the last episode that Hunter told Victoria and Donald that you two morons thought that you took out Jason, but you didn't take out Jason, right? And they were like, how could that be? So he says that somebody switched out Jason with a cancer patient. And Victoria was like, so you mean to tell me I didn't recognize my own son? I'm like, exactly. That's the thing that I've been trying to figure out for weeks now. When we found out that Jason was alive, unless Jason has a doppelganger or a twin that they don't know about, how in the hell did y'all not recognize him? But okay, I could have sworn it, but wasn't that Jason in? And when I say wasn't that Jason in the bed before, but that was Jason in the bed. I know it was Jason in the bed. Well, technically it wasn't Jason in the bed. So, but from what we saw, that was Jason. So I guess what Tyler's trying to tell us is there was somebody out there that looks like Jason. But okay, I mean I'm cool with that, right? But yeah, so Donald is trying to figure out like what the fuck happened, right? And then Hunter's like, all I give a damn about is you finding my son, and he left. So he left Victoria and Donald to talk to each other, right? So Donald kind of put two and two together. The math finally added up to him. He was like, the only way that this could have happened is if, when they took him for CAT scans and everything, that they switched him out at that point. So Victoria was like, you put that together mighty fast. And I was like, Victoria, it's not that hard to figure out how this happened. It's really not that hard to figure out how this happened. It might be hard to figure out who did this, which it really isn't hard to figure out who did this either. But it's very, Donna was like, I'm on your side. She says, are you? I was like, he is. I mean, he was just going along with all your plans, but now you're questioning him, right? So Donald says that, he's gonna, he wants to know who did this. Victoria's like, no, we need to find out how this was done. Then it'll lead us to who did this. So he says he'll put Kyle on. She says, you always put that girl on everything. That is the one thing that I just get frustrated with and annoyed with when it comes to Tyler Perry and the way he writes for homophobic women. Like, he did it with Veronica on The Haves and Have-Nots. She called every gay man girl. So now Victoria is calling every gay man girl. It's disrespectful as hell. Not every man as gay thinks he's a, well, most of them, most gay men don't think that they're girls. Now, they may call their friends a girl, but that's just a term of endearment. But it's not saying that I think you want to be a woman. That's just a term of endearment. Girl, sis. All of those things are terms of endearment. But the way that Victoria and Veronica have used it, it is demeaning. And I don't like it. And I really wish Tyler Perry would stop that. Has somebody, never mind, I was about to say something, but I'm going to keep it to myself, right? So Jason, we move back over to Jason, and Jason still has the gun pointed at Alan. And Alan is still trying to defuse the situation. I'm still puzzled about where this is going, right? Jason was being protected by Sam and his people. He drugged and stabbed David, and he left. And now he's at Alan's place asking Alan for help, but David was helping you. Where is the sense of logic in that? I don't understand it, right? So also, for somebody who just recently jumped off the building, off the White House building, Jason is moving around like he's Michael Myers, because you guys know Michael Myers get hit by cars. They shoot up Michael Myers. They do all kind of things to Michael Myers, and Michael comes back in another iteration unfazed. You would never know that anything happened to Michael. Like, you would really think nothing happened to Michael. And you guys, I have not forgot. I really haven't forgot about that I was supposed to do a spoiler review. I actually might do a watch along. I might do a watch along with that one. I'm trying to figure out what I want to do with that. I am going to talk about it, so don't be in the comments saying, JB, you never did I ain't forgot about it. I just trying to figure out how I want to do it. And I got to rewatch the movie again because I actually forgot what happened. Oh, God, I got to watch that movie again. So Alan was trying to defuse the situation with Jason. He said, hey, let me go get us something to eat and a beer. Jason says, I'm underage and I'll get in trouble. I was like, that's what you're worried about? Not the fact that you have murdered multiple people? And there's proof. Actually, I don't know if there's really proof that Jason, well, technically, I don't know. I don't honestly care. Let's pause here and move forward. So you guys remember that in the last episode that Eli told Bobby to take Simone home, right? So he took Simone home and he was about to leave, and she's like, whoa, no, I want to talk to you, Bobby. Why did she have to talk to him in that sultry, sexy voice? So She asked him, like, what do you think about the whole evidence that my husband presented, right? So Bobby's whole thing is the fact that, he feels like it's a good thing that they know the truth now, which y'all know partial truth. Y'all know partial truth. Y'all do know. So the fact that they're telling you Jason did some of those things, that is true. But the thing about Max and Yuma and all that stuff, that's not true. We know it's not true. Bobby and Max are, they think they know, but they don't know 100%, right? So Simone feels like it's very convenient, this evidence, and she wants to know where it came from, right? So she wants to do an investigation of her own. I was like, girl, I don't think you want to do that investigation. Go ask Diane Wilmot how that happened. Ooh, that's right, you can't ask Diane. What did they say happened? I know somebody in the comments told me, didn't Diane Wilmot supposed to? Diane Wilmot died of a overdose, but didn't Kyle torture her? Okay, I actually miss Diane. Although she got on my nerves a little bit, I kind of do miss Diane. There are some characters from past seasons that I do miss. Diane is one, and Jean is one. Now Ellie, I'm kind of glad that Ellie is gone. Couldn't stand Ellie and that crooked mouth. No shade to the young lady who plays Ellie, but I just couldn't stand Ellie. So at one point, Bobby made a mention of Eli, and Simone got offended by that, talking about her husband is the best man she knows. He's a Boy Scout and all this kind of stuff. I was like, girl, you're going to be surprised when you find out that your husband is banging the first lady. But good luck with that one, sis. So yeah, she was talking about how she wants to verify this information, and Bobby says that he can help her. So next up, we move over to Kyle and Max. Kyle will flirt with anything that has a penis, right? So Kyle told Max that he set up the boxing match for them, and Max is like, I'll be there, right? So then Max is like, why are you still standing here? And once again, Kyle is flirting with him, right? And Max was like, what the hell are you doing? Like, are you trying to get a rise out of me? He might be trying to get more than one rise out of you. My eyebrows are starting to look like my eyebrows, you guys. I just talk shit about Deborah's eyebrows. Deborah, Ghostface eyebrows on Real Housewives of Potomac. And mine are a little bushy myself. Babe, it's time to get these hoes arched. Whoo, girl. But at least my eyebrows don't go up like hers do. I mean, they do go up when I they go up a little bit, but not like that. Not like Bert and Ernie. Oof. What were we talking about? So Sam came in and broke up this whole situation between those two, right? So they still don't buy this whole stuff with Eli and what he presented to them, right? So Max then told Sam about Alonzo being with Hunter and that he needs to go talk to him, but he'll actually set it up so that they can talk to each other, right? So that's that. So let's pause here and move forward, you guys. So Kyle went over to Donald's office, right? And Donald told him about Jason being alive, and immediately Kyle put two and two together that Sam is behind this. And I was like, how did he put this together? But he put it together because he says that, Sam has been the one that's been doing all the digging. I was like, well, you actually got it right. So then Kyle mentions Lily. Why did he mention Lily? Because he's talking about the fact that he and Donald have not had sex in a while, and Donald ain't worried about having sex with Kyle. Kyle's like, you're still mad about Dale, aren't you? He was like, I don't give a damn about Dale. I'm like, you don't? Because you had him shot at because of your boyfriend. But okay, if you feel like, honestly, with Dale and with those two, I couldn't care less, right? Priscilla. So we see her and Richard, or as Victoria kept calling him, Robert. They're in the kitchen and they're talking about, Barry and Nancy, right? And Richard's saying that Nancy's very worried about Barry, and she's like, I'm pretty sure that Barry's okay. He was like, I don't know about that, Priscilla, because this is not like Barry, right? So he says he's gonna talk to Sam. So then Victoria came in and she went to the get some wine, and Priscilla's like, well, ma'am, we can get it for you. She was like, I trust Robert, but bitch, you, I don't trust. And Priscilla was like, his name is Richard. And, you know, Robert was like, don't worry about it. And she's like, no, I think she would want to get all of our names correct since she's going to be here, for 4 years, right? And she's like, and then that's when, Victoria wants to start messing with Priscilla, talking about, oh, yeah, I do want to get to know all your names, especially Sam's. I was like, girl, you might. I would leave her alone. But she eventually left, right? Richard left. Now, here in a weird change of things. So remember, I told you she was drinking some wine, right? So Priscilla got the wine bottle and backwashed. Granted, that's nasty as shit. And she put it back and she said, take that, bitch. And I was like, what is you doing? What are you doing? What does your saliva do to her? Unless you got, COVID or the FLU, I don't know how that's going to help or hurt her. Unless you got the flu, COVID, or some kind of STD, sexually transmitted disease, or something that you could pass by saliva. You can't even pass. Well, yes, you can. I about to say you can't pass the flu, but actually, I don't know. How can you pass the flu? Because I actually got the flu one year, and I got it through contact from somebody else that I still don't even know how I got it. Well, I know you can get that by touch, right, and stuff like that. But neither here nor there. But I don't understand that. So yeah, let's pause here, you guys, and move forward. Actually, we're going to start wrapping up this episode. So, Sam is in a control room, and he got a phone call from David. So David basically told Sam, like, Jason, that little MFer drugged me and stabbed me. And I was thinking to myself, like, how in the hell is he still alive? He drugged you and he stabbed you. So he slowed down your motor skills. So I was assuming that David would have bled out, but he's still with us, right? So he told Sam that he took his truck. He doesn't have any trackers on his truck. But then he sent Sam a text message of some kind of photo, and Sam was pissed off, but he said, find him, right? So next up is Lily. Lily is finally seeing a doctor, right? And I definitely use air quotes for the doctor, right? So the doctor comes in, and I noticed, I'm like, something's off with this doctor, because he didn't come close to her. So she was like, she got shot, right? He was like, okay, can you take the bandage off? I was like, huh? I didn't think too much about that when he said take the bandage. I feel like, okay, maybe he don't want to. I didn't think too much into that until the man said he's squeamish when it comes to blood. I was like, what kind of doctor is squeamish about blood? Then she was talking about, he was talking about taking the bullet out, and she's like, it went through her. And he's like, ooh, oh. And me and Lily, I like, when he came in, I already had a side eye for him. Come to find out, this man is not even, well, he's technically is a doctor, but he's a veterinarian. I was like, so you sent a vet to check on Lily. Then this fool ain't got no license. I was like, oh, hell no. I'm sorry, get your ass out. And that's eventually what Lily said. Sorry, get out. I'm gonna go to the doctor myself. So after that, we move over to Hunter. Oh God, you guys. Hunter. So Hunter called in Alonzo. You guys know Hunter wants some drugs and to go see some women, right? So Alonzo gave him the bag of drugs, and Hunter was like, what the is this? He was like, I got what he could legally get, right? So that way if something happens to him, they won't come after him. And Hunter's like, if something happens to you, I'm the president of the United States. Hunter, you're the president. You're not above the law. Well, you know what? When Tyler wrote this show, and I wonder when in the hell did he write this show? because the more that I look at Hunter, the more Hunter gives me you know who vibes. Like Hunter is literally morphing into Chester the Cheeto. Don't do shit. I don't know now. I don't know about him and being on drugs and women, but the not doing shit, the not doing anything presidential, is giving you know who, right? But he tells him to go get him some old drugs because Alonzo's like, I can get you some tomorrow because the guy is, he's not here. But Hunter told him to go get some old drugs. When he left out, Max, stopped him. And Max, literally just told him, I used to do that stuff for him. But then, he tried to have me taken out by Kyle. And then he was like, what am I supposed to do? He says, talk to Sam, and Sam is, be able to help you, right? Forgot to mention, so Sam, when he was in the control room, Victoria called for him. He said at one point to tell her he was busy, but she called back and said either he comes up there or she'll come down to him, right? So he left, and Kyle came in and asked the other guy, what was he looking at? So he wants to know what Sam was looking at, right? Sam gets up to the residence where was she in the residence or was she in the Oval? I think she was in the Oval. I don't know where she was, right? Wherever she was, she calls Sam in there, right? She starts flirting with Sam. Sam tells her he's gonna get off of her detail and he's gonna work on his marriage with his wife. And she says, "I heard you got shot. Where'd you get shot at?" So then she starts pushing up on him, right? And as she's pushing up on him, who comes in? Priscilla came in, and that's literally where the episode ended, you guys. So drop down in the comment section, you guys, and let me know what you guys thought about this episode. Subscribe to the channel, turn on your post notifications, and share the video, you guys. And until the next time, stay safe out there. Take care of yourself. Wash your hands. Be blessed. And I'll see you guys in the next one.